If we remember in the last video, Jake's body and mind were affected by alcohol. His reaction time slowed down and he made poor decisions. But how does alcohol cause these responses? It acts through the nervous system, shown here. In fact, recreational drugs do the same by acting through the nervous system. This is why it is important for us to understand how our nervous system works and how these substances I show here can affect it. The nervous system is the command and communication center of our body. It regulates and coordinates activities of our body by detecting what is going inside of our body and our external environment. It then enables us to respond. In other words, the nervous system controls everything our body does. Let's break down the biology. The basic biological unit of the nervous system is the neuron. The neuron is the functional cell of the nervous system. The neuron is made up of the cell body, which contains a nucleus, dendrites, axon, and the axon terminal. The dendrites receive messages from the other cells, and the long axons send out messages to other cells. So the two major functions of the neuron are to receive messages and send out messages. Messages in a neuron are generated and transmitted along the membrane of the neuron as electric impulses that propagate in the direction shown here. These electric activities of the brain can be measured as brain waves, expressed as an electroencephalogram or EEG. The EEG is essential in detecting, diagnosing, and locating normal and abnormal brain function. Even though the messages can be detected due to its electric nature, the transmission of messages or impulses is actually an electrochemical event. To transmit the message to the next cell, the axon, shown here, of the neuron releases chemical messengers to the next cell. Let's zoom in here. The axon terminals release chemical signals, also known as neurotransmitters, which can bind to receptors, shown here, on the membrane of the next neuron or cell. Each neuron receives signals from and sends signals to many other neurons. Thus, it can carry on conversation with many different neurons at the same time. The central nervous system, aka the major part of the entire nervous system in the body, includes the brain and spinal cord. The CNS is the command and communication center for the whole body. Now let's talk about the brain. The brain is made up of 4 regions. Different regions control different functions. The cerebrum, aka the thinking center, controls speech. It also controls memory, learning, and reasoning, and other things. Now let's go on to the next region of the brain. This is the diencephalon, and this keeps our body stabilized. It contains the hypothalamus, which controls regulation of our body temperature, water balance, and metabolism. This region is also the emotional center, as I see here, and it controls things such as thirst, appetite, sex, pain, and pleasure. Now let's move on to another section of the brain, or region of the brain. Let's look at the brainstem. The brainstem controls the vital activities such as breathing, blood pressure, and consciousness. Finally, let's move on to the cerebellum, shown here in green. cerebellum, and it manages our physical movement. It provides a precise timing for skeletal muscle activity and controls our physical state of balance and equilibrium. The left and right sides of the brain are associated with different functions. The development of these specific functions depends on genetics and training. Functions of the left brain include number skills, language, logic, controls physical movements of the right side of the body too. Functions of the right brain include insight, imagination, musicality, creativity, and it controls the movements of the left side of the body. The rest of the nervous system includes the peripheral nervous system, or PNS. The PNS includes neurons that extend from the brain and spinal cord to all parts of the body. Nerves are long cable-like bundles of axons within the PNS. These cords of nerves vary in length from a microscopic size to a length of several feet. The longest nerves in humans reach from the spine to even the big toe. So to recap the nervous system, it coordinates messages from the signal perception to the CNS and then back into an emotional, physical, or biological response. For example, when we sense through touch that a pan on the stove is hot, neurons on our hands perceive that message. The message is then directed to our CNS, and then a message is sent back to move our hand away, as you can see here. Neurons that carry impulses or messages to the CNS are sensory neurons. They keep us informed about what's happening inside and outside the body. Neurons that carry impulses from the CNS to other organs are motor neurons. So to summarize what we've learned, drugs and alcohol affect the nervous system. Nervous system controls basically everything our body does. And the basic unit of our nervous system is the neuron, which has cell body, dendrites, and axons. Major function of neurons are to receive messages and send out messages. Now, also EEGs measure electric impulses. Moving on, neurotransmitters are chemical messengers, and their role is to bind to receptors of other cells. The CNS includes the brain and spinal cord, and the brain has 4 regions. Remember, it has the cerebrum, the diencephalon, the brainstem, and the cerebellum. So now we have the right and left sides of the brain, and as you know, each of them have different functions. The peripheral nervous system connects the CNS, or central nervous system, to the body. Messages are transmitted from the sensory neurons to the central nervous system to the motor neurons. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you.